What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Millzy, back with Hometown Commander. We are back for another opening. This past week on eBay, I got a great deal on 2 collector booster boxes, and I thought, why not open them up, have some fun. The first of the 2 is Innistrad Midnight Hunt, a set that I actually didn't get to open too much of the collector boosters at the time. Of course, I did play during Midnight Hunt, but it was really before I really opened, a ton of products. And, of course, this set is something I really enjoy. Innistrad's a set that I've loved, or a plane that I've loved for a long time. Werewolves and spirits and zombies and humans and angels. And it's just and vampires, of course. Just an interesting plane. And I thought, what would be more fun than opening up some Midnight Hunt? Normally, collector booster boxes can be kind of expensive, of course. They're meant to be high in collectability and things like that. Although for the price that I got these 2, this and the box we're going to open up next week, next week's video, I thought, why not? Why not have some fun? Of course, the big money cards we're looking for out of Midnight Hunt is the Meat Hook Massacre, of course, and a lot of some other things, but mainly Meat Hook, right? Meat Hook's that big chase money cards. We got 12 Innistrad at Midnight Hunt collector boosters. Again, very excited for this one. So let's jump on in. It's been a while since since I've opened Midnight Hunt, so I'm not going to be exactly sure on where all of the slots are. But let's do it. Dawnheart Rejuvenator. Starting up there for our commons. Getting into our uncommons. Unnatural Moonrise. Pretty great there. Got a foiled Delver's Secrets, of course, a card very popular in a lot of older formats for its ability. And I forgot, we get our pretty lands, 1 for each pack. Got a pretty island there. Vadric Astral Archmage is our regular foil rare. Visions of Dread, I believe that's our commander card right there. We've got Briarbridge Tracker, pretty cool. We're getting to some of our showcase cards. We got Candlegrove Witch and Bird Admirer. We have a Florian Voldaren Scion in that pretty black frame right there. Outland Liberator. Got a foil dual face card and a foil extended art Vanquish the Horde. A great board weight. Of course, costing 1 less for each creature on the battlefield. Pretty great for Commander because, of course, people seem to always have creatures on the battlefield. Howl of the Hunt. Starting off our commons. Got a pretty swamp there. I think one of my favorite parts about us going back to Innistrad between Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow was the lands that we got. These beautiful black and white with some colored lands. And I think they just make the set so much better. And of course, putting them into decks, we have Denic Pious Apprentice. Kind of an odd cut. You can see very miscut on the bottom. Kind of interesting. Celebrate the Harvest. There's our commander card again. Looks kind of miscut on the bottom, but interesting. Curse of Shaken Faith. We have Infiltrated Spellroom Painter. So lots of werewolf stuff. A Brutal Cathar. It's our showcase rare. That's pretty cool. Of course, Brutal Cathar was very well played in Standard at the time. Still sees some play in some spaces. A foil Shady Traveler with a Striking Prayer on the back. That's a pretty foil right there. And then Intrepid Adversary is our extended art foil. Of course, it was played in time, a little bit in time at Standard at the time, but kind of a cool card. For those human decks, you can come down, pay mana, and boost your board. So we get through our commons. Nothing too great in the uncommons. There's one of our another pretty forest there. Ooh, first of the Innistrad slow lands that we get to see in this opening, Rockfall Vale. This is probably one of my favorite modern cycles of lands that they've made as far as new ones go. For most commander decks, whether you're playing 2 or 3 colors, these are probably almost always going to come in untapped. You're going to kind of always be able to play them pretty late in the turn order, right? At least after turn 2 most of the time. So they're almost always going to come in untapped. So really like those. We have Sigarda's Vanguard. Storm the Festival, great rare there. Of course, played in a bunch of interesting decks, but of course, being able to flash that back is kind of cool. Dawnheart Rejuvenator, Town Tamer. Here we go. We have Catilda, Dawnheart Prime, letting all of our humans tap for a mana of any color. That's pretty great, or any of their colors, and then putting a counter everything. Love Catilda, a card that I probably wouldn't play as a commander, but I think is pretty great in a lot of support of other piles. Foil Dawnhart Rejuvenator, and a Bloodline Culling. Target creature gets -5/-5, or creature tokens get -2/-2 until end of turn. Some of the cuts on some of these cards look a little off to me. It could just be that I haven't played with some of these in a while, but otherwise it does look a little off, but still very interesting. And then a mountain there. Oh, here we go, another foil Innistrad Sullivan, Deserted Beach. So we got red-green, we got blue-white this time. Curse of Obsession. The player draws 2 additional cards at the beginning of that player's end step. That player discards their hand, so it can be either high risk, high reward for yourself, or help shut somebody down. Grafted Identity, a card that I really liked from this set, especially in some of the Enchantress decks and Brawl at the time. Yeah, additional cost to cast the spell, you sacrifice creature, and then you can control enchanted creature. Pretty cool card. Birded Mire and Harvest Time of the Trader. We have a Jaren Corrupted Bishop. Pretty cool there. I love this black and white art on some of the legendary creatures of this set, and just some of the things they can do. Tavern Ruffian into Tavern Smasher, and then we have Suspicious Stowaway as our rare there. That is a blue werewolf on the front side and a green werewolf on the back side. The other cool part about Midnight Hunt was we didn't just see werewolves in green and red. We got to see them in other colors as well, like that Brutal Cathar that we saw before. And I thought that was pretty cool to kind of give us a few more options as opposed to just seeing werewolves in those normal colors that you choose to see them. Fading Hope, pretty cool bounce spell, at least for standard at the time. Croaking Counterpart, making a copy of a target creature, non-frog creature, except it's a 1/1 frog. It's pretty cool. Visions of Glory, our commander card there. Wake to Slaughter, interesting card. Love the art there on that one. Another Dawnhart Rejuvenator, Tireless Hauler. And there we go with the black and white version of Vadric, Astral Archmage. A great Izzet commander its own right, but of course very useful. A lot of spell singing decks. We have a Dawnhart Warden's foil. And our foil extended art is Champion in the Parish. Beautiful foil extended art. And there's zombie enters battlefield control, put a +1/+1 counter out of it. Very interesting, of course. I don't know. The Champion of the Parish is kind of interesting. It's a play on the other champion that gets you a counter every time another human enters the battlefield, and then creatures with power less than it can't block. So Champion of the Parish is kind of interesting, being a little cheap 1-drop zombie that can get bigger and bigger. We got a Foil Plains, Suspicious Stowaway. There's the regular version of the one we saw before. Cleaver Scab from Wilheld's deck. 3 taps, sacrifice another zombie, create 2 tokens that are copied of the sacrifice creature. A great card and an interesting deck in its own right. Moonveil Regent, there we go, the dragon of this set. Allows you to get cast a spell. You may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each of that spell's colors. Of course, if you have no hand, of course, you're just drawing extra cards, and then whenever it dies, it does X damage to target, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Kind of an interesting dragon. I haven't really found a good spot for it, but I do find it kind of interesting. Dawnhart Wardens by Brigand, and we have Jadar, a Ghoul Caller of Nephalia, probably the more popular of these legendary creatures that came out of this set. Of course, it says at the end, if you're in step, you control no creatures with Decayed, you get a 2/2 creature token with Decayed. Very useful in a lot of our Stork Brawl formats for getting tokens, but I do, again, love the black and white art there. We got a Baneblade Scoundrel into Baneclaw Marauder. Very dark. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. That card is very dark and foil. And then a Mask of Grizzlebrand. Equipped creature has flying and lifelink, and then whenever a equipped creature dies, you may pay X if you do, where X is its power. If you do, you draw X cards. Kind of interesting card there. Of course, a reference to Grizzlebrand, the most infamous demon on Innistrad. Morbid Opportunist gets some play. When the creature's dying, you get to draw a card. Swamp, and there we go. We get another one of our Innistrad lands in Shipwreck Marsh. I have to say, I really do like this land cycle, one, because I think all of the art on them are really cool, but also the borderless ones look even better. Eliois, Nephalia Sleuth. Got a Smoldering Egg. This card's definitely been played a lot more in your spell slinging list. To the front side, it just gets counters, and then once it hits 7, it turns into Ashmouth Dragon, dealing 2 damage to any target every time you cast an instant or sorcery. So kind of an interesting card right there. Toes Hauler. Lots of werewolves, Body Breaker. We get Old Stick Fingers. Interesting Golgari Graveyard Commander here. When you cast it, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all the creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in the order, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Whether this is your graveyard commander or something to help you with it, Old Stick Figures is pretty interesting as far as that goes. A foil Tireless Hauler, and then we get a foil Briarbridge Tracker. Not sure on where the value of Briarbridge Tracker is now that it's kind of made its way out of Standard. I know it was very popular in its time in Standard because it came and investigated, gave you that clue, and basically turned into a 4/3 for 3 mana. So I'm unsure where its place is in our extended formats, but I'm excited to look it up and find out. We have a Mountain and a foil Mythic Sigardian Savior. There's the battlefield. If you cast it, return up to 2 target creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's very interesting, bringing things back. We get a Hordewing Scab, so some of our it looks like our commander cards so far have been pretty split between the Lenore Humans deck and then Will Help. Other zombies you control have flying, and then when one or more zombies you control deal combat damage to one or more of your opponents, you may draw cards equal to the number of opponents dealt damage this way. If you do, discard that many cards. So a little bit of draw in those zombie decks, and a extended art Burn Down the House. Love this card. Of course, got so much play in Standard at the time, dealing 5 damage to each creature, each planeswalker, or making 3 of those devils. Love this card. Still play it a lot in Brawl. Shady Traveler, Elton Liberator, and we get a Rem Careless Stalwart Slayer. Love that black and white art there. I don't know that I've ever seen this one in this art. Looks pretty cool there. We get a Tavern Ruffian, and Enduring Angel is our foil extended art mythic flying double strike. You have hexproof. If your life total be reduced to 0 or less, instead transform it and your life total becomes 3. Then if it didn't transform this way, you lose the game. Transforms into Angelic Enforcer. Flying, you have hexproof. Its power toughness you go to your life total. Whenever it attacks, double your life total. Mythic Angel. It's cool to see them, of course, coming back to Innistrad and giving us at least a few new angels. There we go. We got a pretty island there. Curse of Silence, a card that I play a lot in Brawl, and I'm sure sees some play outside of it, allowing you to pick a card name, and then that card name costs 2 more to cast. Got Moorland Rescuer out of the Lenore deck. Willowgeist, kind of an interesting little 1-drop there that can grow to be a little bit bigger. Candlegrove Witch, Tavern Ruffian, and Tovalar's Huntmasters are rare, coming in, making those 2/2 wolf tokens. But if it's nighttime, not only does it come in to make the 2 tokens, but you can have a wolf fight a creature you don't control other than this for 4 mana. Pretty great little guy there. And then our foil extended art is a Curse of Silence. I've always been kind of interested to see how well Curse of Silence would do in Commander. Of course, we have access to cards similar to it, of course, Pithing Needle and different things like that. But I'm just interested. The interesting part to me is that last ability. Whenever a enchanted player casts a spell that shows a name, you may sacrifice it if you do draw a card. Would the 1 mana be worth kind of pushing your opponents back just a little bit? I guess that's the question, right? I don't know. Thought experiment to think about. We have a Plains Can't Stay Away. Turning something back from the battlefield, or from the graveyard. We have a Ravenous Rotbelly. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice up to 3 zombies. When you sacrifice 1 or more zombies this way, each opponent sacrifices that many creatures. Kind of interesting, probably a little expensive on its for its cost of 5 mana, but I do think it's interesting. We see Galvanic Iteration, one of my favorite spells from this set. And the next thing you cast getting copied, and you choose new targets for copy, and then flashing it back is great. This is helpful for a lot of formats, but especially in Commander, where a lot of spell singing decks need to get things back out of their graveyard. Great that you could flash it back out of your graveyard. Our rare is another Suspicious Stowaway. Candlegrove Witch, foil right there in that pretty frame. And there we go. Our first of the Innistrad lands in foil, a Deserted Beach foil borderless. I think that means all we need left Oh, no, we didn't. The Deserted Beach is the one we pulled there. I was going to say, maybe we will see all 5 of our slow lands in this opening. Maybe not. We've done okay so far. I mean, for what I paid for the box, we expected to have a little bit of hit and miss as far as things go. But I have to say, I love opening up this old stuff, and it's just so much fun. Whether we use the cards or not, whether we buy list them or not, I think it's so fun to open. And Innistrad Midnight Hunt's, of the 2 Innistrad sets we saw, my favorite as far as the art goes and a lot of the support goes. Visions of Dominance. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and then double the amount of counters on it. And then it says if the spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest mana of a commander you own on the battlefield in the command zone if you flash it back. That's pretty cool. Definitely a big spell. Can do a lot. And we see extended art Celestis, of course, one of the most popular artifacts of this set. Making it night or day, depending on paying that mana. Tapping for mana of any color. A great card, especially in a lot of the decks that care about day and night. There we go. A borderless Wrenn and 7. One of the better cards from this set, and one of my favorite Planeswalkers of the last year. There's a lot of really great things. Gets those top 4 off the top, putting lands in your hand, the rest into your graveyard. This is great for decks that care about filling things up into the graveyard while still getting you those lands. You can put all the lands down, get you a big, massive token from equal to how many lands you have, which is great for blocking, protecting Wrenn, and -8, returning all permanents from your graveyard back to your hand. Pretty darn cool. Bird Admirer, and then we have Graveyard Trespasser, was definitely one of the big cards of its time in Standard. Doing a lot of hurt, and that ward for discard a card did a lot more than I think most people expected. It was pretty hard to get rid of it when you had to pitch a card for the privilege. Well, no meat hook yet, but I am happy with Wrenn and 7. Definitely a great card as well. Of course, we would love to end off the box with a meat hook. But there we go. Infernal Grasp, one of the better removal spells of the last few years. In black, destroy target creature, you lose 2 life. Great for 2 mana. Got Rem Careless. Crowded Crypt from the zombie deck. Pretty cool. We're hitting some of the cool cards from the zombie decks in this commander slot. Tapping for a black whenever your creature you control dies, put a corpse counter on it. I think it's pretty cool that it says when a creature you control dies and not when a zombie you control dies. Makes it a little bit more applicable, right? 6 mana, sack it. Make a zombie token with Decayed for each corpse counter on it. So pretty great. The longer you let it go, the better it gets, making you all those tokens for lots of different things. I think this card's probably a little bit more applicable for some aristocratic type decks if this is something you're interested in. But of course, very great for that. Very good for that zombie style deck. Sunstreak Phoenix, getting another Phoenix. Kind of an interesting card right there. Bird Admirer. And we get Sereth, the Viper Fang. This is a pretty cool card for that first ability. Other tap creatures you control have Death Touch. It allows you to attack with your attackers and not really feel too bad about swinging them in, because you know if your opponent chooses to block them, they're just going to die. And other untapped creatures you control have hexproof, can protect your commander, can protect a lot of things, and then it says untap another target creature or land you control, so you can help potentially protect them from that hexproof. Harvest Titan Infiltrator, and a Lisa Forgotten Archangel in that black and white. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step, and if a creature opponent controls died, exile it instead. 5 mana, black, white, angel. Well, friends, that is it. That is our Innistrad Midnight Hunt Collector Booster Box. I think we did pretty well. This is a ton of fun to open. It's a set, like I said, I have a lot of love for, and this is a set that just wanted to have another chance at opening some fun stuff up for. Let me know what you thought our best pull was out of the box. Definitely think it was that Wrenn and 7. Not only is a beautiful card, but I just love the art on it. And of course, just this week, got the privilege of seeing Wren's next card from Mother of the Machines. Very excited for that. Very excited to brew around that. For now, that's where I will leave it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.